Hey guys, it's the Conic, and I have one more build update for you guys after this one. But this one I felt was very important to go over because I did change quite a bit in the swap to going from non-Doriani to Doriani, albeit without a Mageblood. So there are going to be differences between this and the high budget version. So this is going to be like the bare bones budget, if you will, for actually getting to like minus 200 lightning res and having that huge Doriani multiplier. So the first part of this swap, and the part I think you need 100% before making the swap, is a Doriani. This is the first part, but this is not all, because if you just take a Doriani, you're going to die. You're going to pair that with the Glorious Vanity with Divine Flesh, as well as a Watcher's Eye with Fire and Lightning converted to Cold with Purity of Ice. I don't have this macro. I'm going to divine this, but I'm going to do that after I get my Mageblood, which is my next upgrade. And you also want to get a Sublime Vision, 30% conversion. With these three pieces, you're converting all your fire and lightning damage to cold while you have Purity of Ice, but you cannot use any other Purity of Ice auras. Now, problems I ran into as soon as I was switching this is we need to get as low res as possible, which meant I needed to drop Commander of Darkness and Purity of Elements. This is a lot of res to drop. However, we no longer care about fire and we no longer care about lightning res. If anything, we're actively avoiding lightning res. So suffixes wise, we come out decently ahead. Now, we also have to drop the bone meld we're currently using. The bone meld has the last line, which says minions gain added resistances equal to 50% of your resistances. So you know what happens when you get to minus 200 and you're using a bone meld? Your spectres are going to get minus 100 lightning res, and they're not going to find that fun. So it is important that you drop your bone meld in when you're going for this swap, which means we can go for the alternative Jinx Juju. This is a defensive option, and I am keeping this Jinx Juju until I get my Mageblood. At that point, when I have the defenses from the Mageblood, I can then swap my amulet to an Unetor's vow. Basically, is the current game plan. Now we've settled that. We've dropped Purity of Element and we've dropped early res. That means we now have to worry about ailment immunity. How do we deal with that? We go for a Storm Shroud, I believe. Where is it? Yeah, a Foulborn Storm Shroud, so it doesn't give us plus lightning res. And then with this guy, paired with my Darkness Enthroned with 2 new jewels, we are going to have immunity to all ailments. So you're going to want 40% plus on one of these. This should give you, on like a 92% belt, we're looking at anywhere from like, I want to say 75-ish percent lightning res. I haven't done the math actually, but then we can get that twice. The second one, if you want to balance the mods out, you realistically only need like 60% between the two, and you have ailment immunity. Now for your stun chance, you're going to also want to use these jewels to get a chance to avoid stun. Why? Because we want to drop Soul of the Brine King, so we can go for some extra PDR here. Now ignore the fact that I haven't actually gotten the bonuses. Imagine I had those bonuses. Don't be like me, don't be lazy, go get them. They are very big defenses. Well, we are switching to that. And with all those swaps, now comes changes to your passive tree as well. We're going to need a 12 passive cluster to incorporate the 2 new jewels we got. I'm still using a Fortress Covenant, but that is temporary. Eventually I will switch. And we are also using a Born of Chaos so we can get max Chaos Rest, so we need more to have more resistances. Now we are currently sitting at 81% max cold res and 84 max Chaos Res. This is fine. I used a node here to cap my Chaos Res. You can opt for this, you can opt for just more Chaos Res elsewhere. Either way, you want to cap your Chaos Res, and Chaos Res is the most important res we have currently, because out of all your resistances or all your elemental damage, most of it is being converted to chaos damage. And I say most of it just because even some cold damage gets converted to chaos damage as well. Cold res is also important, but we do not have a way to actively get to 90% cold res, so we're not opting for optional defenses. Now you could, in theory, switch your Basalt Flask with a Sapphire Flask for max cold res while you're clearing. That is something you can do. I just haven't felt the need, and as you can see, I am 78% on the way to level 100. That's just showing like I am not dying. I am actually leveling very efficiently with this setup. I do not die basically. If I die, I'm very surprised. I also opted for a +1 level of socketed gems on my Doriani's prototype just because I wanted the extra level, the extra damage. You can go for reduced crits. That is also very good, especially if you're doing T17 mods. Crits can be very spicy, so that would be very, very helpful for you. You should, and again, unlike me, quality this. I will quality this after this video. I am just seeing it, but you want this quality. And now for the actual way you get to minus lightning res to actually apply big minus res to enemies is going to be your rings. I have 2 placeholder rings. This is big minus lightning res and big attributes, which I actually needed in order to fully use my raised Spectre, my dark monarch, and the dexterity needed for level 20 support. So that is why I need so much int and strength. And I had to recraft my gloves so it had dexterity as well. Got a really, really nice pair from the craft process, so I can't even complain there. And then we also get big life and minus lightning res on this one. This puts us at minus 236, and this allows me to even pick up elemental res shrines in the map and still be at minus 200. So that feels really nice, at least when paired with the altar for minus lightning res too. And of course, in the process of all of this, you're going to lose you're going to lose 2 Spectre spots because you lose a +2 Spectre. You're just going to drop 2 Defilers basically. And I finally went for my Guardian Turtle as my 3rd support Spectre. The other 2 are Spirit of Fortune and Forest Warrior, like in the previous iteration of the build. But yeah, that covers most of what you need. You of course also would like an impossible escape, but it's not mandatory. And I say it would like because, as you can see, I do not have the points that I should have on these nodes. So I can get physical damage reduction on like this section here, this one, and this can also give me some spell block movement speed, pretty nice stats. And there's also physical damage reduction here. I do not have them, as you might notice, because I do not have the points for them. That being said, once I get my Mageblood, I do plan on respecing my tree to be closer to the high budget tree, so we can actually go for all those points. But again, this is a transitionary tree that kind of helps mitigate the deficiencies of not having that Mageblood yet. So I'll be leaving the snapshot of this POB in the description, and I will also I'll create an entry for it in the build spreadsheet, just so people have easy access to it and you understand what it takes to make the swap before Mageblood. And of course, once you have your Mageblood, defenses round out. If you're enjoying the content and you haven't already, do consider liking and subscribing, as it helps a lot with the algorithm and with our 2025 goal of getting 2,000 subs, after which I will be doing a face reveal on stream and here on YouTube. And on that note, you also want to pick up otherworldly appendages. I just remembered, this is a very, very big keystone or ascendancy point. It makes it so when you have an old graft, which we are using in Tender Embrace, we're going to be taking 15% less physical damage, which is huge. Now, we also would like less cold damage because these are the 2 elements we are taking, or these are the 2 elements that are available here that we are taking. However, we don't have that option that's available to us. The reason being is Molten Shell from Heart of Flame is just insane. I would not recommend going for anything else. This is a very, very, very comfortable defensive layer, and I cannot recommend this enough. So this beats the 15% less cold damage in my opinion. This is way, and this also affects chaos damage taken. So there is just no universe where the 15% less cold damage to me is better than the Heart of Flame. But that is what we are currently opting for as extra defensive layers. And we don't miss the offensive boost from here because we have a Doriani, which is a very, very big multiplier. But yeah, that about sums up the changes we've made. I'm going to be making one more update on the build after the Mageblood swap, because that is when it will fully come together, and that will be the final update of this build. I've also started sort of POB my next build, so more on that when the time comes, I guess. As usual, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. If you haven't already, do consider liking and subscribing, as it helps us a lot with the algorithm. And with all that said, thank you for watching.